Well, now that we've all gotten back from seeing Evil Dead Rise, I think we are primed and ready to finally tackle this Evil Dead franchise tier list.
What a wonderful thing going to the theater. The smell of popcorn and butter. And boy, I do love me a soda.
Of course you would, you fucking dinosaur. If I wanted to watch somebody get a hand job in the seat across from me, I'd just take the subway. We should have just pirated it and crashed in my mom's carriage house.
I hear you, Donnie. Your mom's carriage house is lit, not gonna lie. But Joe's got a point. Nothing quite beats the big screen.
Yeah, suck my balls, Donald Donkey.
All right, that's it. I want my copy of Double Dash back, you saggy old fuckwad.
Okay, boys, fellas, let's not get ahead of ourselves here. This tier list ain't gonna rank itself. All right, starting with the original. I think it's safe to say A tier.
I can meet you there, Barry. The original is a classic and was truly frightening for its time. The acting is pretty mid, and Ash is kind of a pussy, but the kills make up for that. I'd have said B tier, but I can give it A with the consideration of its historical significance in the grander timeline of the horror genre.
Wow. I cannot believe the dribble that is emanating from your fucking holes. The original Evil Dead is obviously goated as fuck. You brain-dead morons need to have your heads inspected, Jesus Christ. Don't you know S tier when you see it?
Okay, then explain yourself, you trigger happy little numbnut.
Gladly. The original Evil Dead was made for only $300,000, and they transformed it into a multi-million-dollar franchise. Sam Raimi, Rob Tappert, and Bruce Campbell were no stooges. They knew what they were doing, probably because they read my book.
Your book has probably done about as much good as the Necronomicon itself, you scumbag.
I hear you, Don. What they were able to accomplish with their limited resources was certainly impressive, but I don't think that should necessarily have an effect on the tier ranking of the film. Financial success does not necessarily translate to high quality.
Sound familiar, you pompous fuck?
Shut the fuck up, you molding sack of bones and shit.
It's going in A tier, Don. Moving on. Evil Dead 2, Dead by Dawn. I think we can all agree this is a clear S tier.
Jesus Christ, Obama, I'd rather see you drone strike another third world country than let you keep pummeling us with these normie-ass fucking takes.
Yeah, I'm with Don on this one.
What?
Evil Dead 2 is overhyped.
Are you two fucking serious? The entire basis of the Evil Dead franchise is based around this film's string of iconic moments. It inspired an entire new wave of horror cinema and is highly regarded and often agreed upon as the greatest horror comedy ever made.
Sure, the first 20 minutes are great. I'll give you that, Barry. But then what? A bunch of moseying around with horrible, underdeveloped side characters you don't give a fuck about, with the hero of the film trapped in the basement? The entire second act is a complete snooze. And the third act, while fun, doesn't come close to topping the first. It results in unbalanced pacing that ultimately makes the film as a whole inferior to the original.
While I don't agree that it's better than the original, I agree with Don that it drags in the second act a bit. Also, the intro is unnecessary and aged terribly within the full context of the series. They should have just kicked the film off right where it left off in the original. It's just confusing.
Usually I'd chalk up your inability to comprehend narrative structure to your crippling dementia, but you're spitting right now, Joey. C tier at best, no cap.
Fuck you both, it's going in S tier and that's final. Okay, next up is Army of Darkness. Personally, I think it strayed a bit too much from its horror roots. And while of course it's a classic, the gore is kind of lacking and Ash is a bit too cheesy for me.
Finally, Obama speaking a little sense. Let me guess, this is the only one Michelle actually allowed you to watch.
Are you two fucking kidding me? Army of Darkness is clearly the GOAT of the entire franchise. The film showed Sam Raimi at his creative peak, fusing his love for slapstick comedy with the new subgenre of horror he created with the first two films. And on top of that, it takes place in medieval times. What more could you two cuckfucks possibly want?
I don't know, maybe some blood? You know, that sweet red shit that is the very core of any good Evil Dead film?
Cold fucking take, Donald. You're just a gorehound, torture porn, loving little simp. You wouldn't know a sophisticated spin on the horror genre if it creamed its fucking goo right across that orange platter of yours, you miserable fucking roach.
Get on your knees and suck my dick if you know what's good for you.
All right, boys, that's enough. I'm sorry, Biden. It's 2 against 1. I think B tier is more than fair for the sake of moving on. Okay, now moving on to the 2013 remake. I actually was pretty surprised at this one. It's an effective reimagining of the world. One can only wonder if Raimi and Co. had a real budget with their first film, if this would have been closer to the realizing of their initial vision.
Are you fucking kidding me? This heaping pile of trash was the beginning of the remake shitstorm that has been plaguing the theatrical landscape for the last 10 years.
While I agree the recent influx of horror remakes has been dreadful, only a fucking vegetable like you could watch this movie and not be on the edge of their seat. Jane Levy's performance is absolutely show-stopping, playing the film's protagonist and antagonist effortlessly. And that finale with the raining blood, I mean, wow.
Just because some girl getting rained on reminded you of all the golden showers you've scarred impressionable young women with doesn't make it a good movie.
Okay, but Joe, you've yet to actually say anything wrong with the film? Fede Alvarez's directing style was goated as fuck. He took Raimi's signature style and elevated it with new technological advances in camera motion, while still keeping the film rooted in old-school practical effects.
Where's Ash?
Are you fucking kidding me?
No Ash, no Evil Dead.
Joe, you can't seriously tell me you're this much of a fucking Ash simp.
Automatic F tier.
Jesus Christ, somebody take this fuck behind the barn already.
Ash or bust.
Look to the river, Joey. Think about the rabbits, Joey.
All right, that's enough. I understand that Joe represents a certain amount of Evil Dead fans, no matter how fucking thick-skulled they might be. And to say that this film is better than any of the original trilogy is a little out of line. B tier seems appropriate.
This movie is fucking S tier. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think I prefer making lists with Shapiro than with you fucks.
Then why don't you and Shapiro go suck each other off? Go whisper cold takes into each other's ears as you go flaccid in each other's holes over and over again?
Hey guys, what's going on here?
We're making an Evil Dead tier list.
It's fucking garbage, Benny boy. Don't even bother analyzing it.
Why didn't you include Within the Woods? You know, the short film the boys used to raise the funds to actually create the 1981 original film? You can't claim to truly be fans of the franchise and not be familiar. And what about the PS2 and PS4 video game cutscenes? No Evil Dead franchise tier list is pragmatically complete without the inclusion of...
I'm sorry I had to. I can't deal with him today.
Loki agreed.
Yeah, never mind. Fuck that tiny prick dickwad.
Okay, moving along, I think something we can all agree on. Ash versus Evil Dead.
Mid as fuck. My boy.
How can something with Bruce back as Ash Williams be mid? Ash is the GOAT.
You know, for such an Ash simp, I'm still trying to wrap my brain around how you were just shitting on Evil Dead 2.
Look, I'll admit that Ash versus Evil Dead doesn't hold a candle to the original trilogy, but it's got a lot of fun moments. And I really like Pablo and Kelly as sidekicks.
It's fucking dog shit. The moment they showed the evil force was just some fucking dust cloud was the death of the entire franchise.
Facts. It's going in D tier.
Fuck this.
Okay, and rounding it out is the new Evil Dead Rise film. While I thought it was fun, it's definitely the weakest of the mainline franchise, and it's a bit of a bummer to feel the series keep getting milked beyond the 2013 remake.
Finally, a decent take, Barak. I was starting to wonder how we even got through all those years in the Oval Office together.
I would imagine it was all the circle jerking you libtards engage in. This film is perhaps one of the finest films in the franchise. The gore is spectacular, and Lee Cronin took a chance by taking the carnage out of the cabin for once.
Raimi already did that in Army of Darkness, you fucking clown.
While I agree with Don that the gore is a lot of fun, I still feel like it doesn't stack up in terms of intensity with Evil Dead 1, 2, or the remake.
And the cast fucking sucks. Most forgettable set of characters we've seen in the franchise yet. I wish we had seen Mia's timeline cross with Pablo, Kelly, and Ash's. Would have been baller as fuck.
LLL.
Nah, Joey's spitting right now, Don. I'm sorry, I think Evil Dead Rise is a solid C tier.
You fucks wouldn't know good cinema if it swallowed your souls.
At least we even have souls, you kumquat.
So are you guys watching The Last Drive-In tonight?
Oh, of course. I love the underlying Republican undertones.
And the thin veil of liberal social commentary makes it an easy pill for old Joey to swallow, too.
Hell yeah, Mutant Fam for Life, gang gang. Catch you boys on r/Shudder tonight.
Peace, bozos.